All right, guys, this is episode 3 of Coffee Talk with Stallone, and we got Mr. Adamo Colella here. Look at that. Yeah, cheering for you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Welcome, welcome. So Adamo and I have been working together for 4 years? 4 years.
4 years, since I started with Remax, actually.
And so tell a little bit about yourself, Adamo. Where are you from? Who do you work with?
So I'm a realtor from Vaughan, as you guys know. I live in Vaughan, work in Vaughan. I've lived in the community pretty much my whole life. Recently, since we met 4 years ago, I made a switch over to Remax West. So that's the brokerage I work at the Kleinberg office. And ever since that, it's been good. I've liked the work we've done together. We've come a long way. We've got to do a lot of cool things.
Yeah,
and
it's been fun, which is the important part, right? Like having fun, doing what you love. I know you love doing what you love.
Yeah, right? I do. A little too much. Sometimes I get a little too carried away with my posts, but it's all good.
So in terms of houses and stuff like that, what kind of luxury size houses do you do? Like what's the?
Well, a lot of the houses I do are a little bit higher in magnitude, price point wise.
Yeah.
They are a lot harder to sell.
I was gonna say.
They do take.
If you had a choice, what would you choose? Like under $1.5 million?
Yeah, that's sort of the price point that works and does well.
Yeah.
But again, I agree. I believe that anything could sell. You know, it all matters, that right buyer, that right timing, and obviously the most important thing is price point.
Price. It's always price.
Yeah. So unfortunately, sometimes people have high expectations, which is fair. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody wants to get the most value.
100%.
It's just facilitating that and finding that right buyer.
Adamo, I remember, like we've been working together for about 4 years, and one of the things that I remember was talking about your comfort zone, right? And it was kind of breaking you out of that shell to say, okay, I need to do a little bit more and push it. And honestly, like I've been seeing a lot of your stuff lately. You've been breaking out of that comfort zone, and there's that point where you've gotten a lot further than you were, which is great. You're making your own videos now. You're making your own stuff, which is awesome. But do you find that you're still?
Yeah, it's always hard. I do like making my own videos. I like having fun with it, so that helps.
Yeah.
I do have a background to sort of edit and make these videos, but ultimately it's getting yourself out there in front of that camera. Everybody changes as soon as it can. Like look at me right now. But yeah, it definitely, breaking out of your comfort zone is a very big
it's a hard thing.
It's a very hard thing, and I know a lot of people have talked to me about it and asked me about it, and ultimately you just got to try, practice.
Yeah. Doing it over and over again, right? Repetition. The more and more you do it, the more and more uncomfortable you get in front of it. I think you get to a point, too, where you have to just kind of not give a shit, really, also, right? And that's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we do care. You shouldn't care, but we do sort of care about what we're putting out there in a sense, how we sound, how are we portrayed.
Yeah.
But what's nice is that when you do put yourself out there and you get feedback from other people, hey, I love your
reassurance,
videos.
Right?
Yeah, it's reassurance.
Yeah.
So, and people are receptive. They see that you're being genuine, you're being yourself.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the most important thing.
But, the talking about putting yourself out, you're going to get good and bad. If coming from someone who puts myself out there quite often and now putting myself out there on YouTube and stuff, you're going to get hate. You know what? Haters are going to be haters. There's that saying. And at the end, you just got to say, I really don't give a shit. If you don't want to listen,
you take it as it comes. Unfortunately, in any business and anything that we do, somebody's going to have something to say.
Always.
Good or bad, right?
Yeah.
So it's how you navigate yourself through that and just kind of say, forget it. I'm going to do what I think is right, what I believe is...
It's your business.
Good business, good content,
karma,
all that stuff.
100%. So. Yeah. It's kind of like there's different cars. I know you're a car guy.
I'm a car guy. I love anything with a motor, right? So
if I came up to you and I said, Adamo, I'm going to give you a Ferrari, but I'm going to give you a pink Ferrari. See, there's that face, right? Like, oh shit, it's a Ferrari, great, but it's pink. But that's what I'm talking about. Like when we put out content and stuff like that, you're going to get people that love Ferraris. Right. They just don't like pink Ferraris.
Right.
And that's okay, because you know what? There's a red one. Go buy a red one instead. So it's kind of the same thing with what we do. If you don't like it, swipe, go next. find something else that you
Yeah.
want to
The thing is with this social media and these videos that are out there now and the content we are putting out there, you have an option to look at it or not.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, what I see it as is I'm speaking to the people that know me and any potential people that are engaging into my content and saying, hey, you know, I like what he's about. I like the way he talks. I like the way he portrays himself. You know, I'm going to call him as my real estate agent or whatever, even as just to, you know, I have a lot of people I engage with on Instagram, not necessarily for business, people I've never met. And they've been asking me questions about real estate, about how I film my videos, things I use to film my videos. So it's more than just about business all the time as well.
Well, I mean, we're human beings.
Right.
We do have other interests that we like to do. I know. So going back to that, you are a car guy. So what is your favorite car?
Well,
because I think it's Ferrari.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, big. Since I was a kid, my first model car was a Ferrari Testarossa.
Okay.
And that prancing horse has stuck with me ever since. So
which one now is your favorite?
You know what? It's hard to say, but
beautiful.
Yeah, they're all beautiful and they're getting nicer. But you know, one of the most classic, iconic supercar Ferraris is the F40.
Yep.
It's just something about that car that it speaks volumes to me, and it's beautiful. So
that's your top. I remember you were on a vacation and your wife got you a. Was it a birthday gift or was it where you went driving the Ferrari in Italy or something?
Actually, yes. So we were away. We were away in Spain.
Spain, yes, yeah.
And
I was so jealous.
Was
I
it?
have to say, I was so jealous.
That was actually my first time driving a Ferrari, and it wasn't a birthday gift. It was a gift from myself to myself.
Oh, good job. Okay, happy birthday to yourself or just whatever. Okay. Good.
See, we were on vacation with a great group of friends in Spain, and there was a guy on the beach there. Saw the car, rent me. I said, "Wow, okay, gotta go." Spoke to him, and it was a 20-minute ride. It was only 20 minutes, which was great because it's so expensive here to rent a car. And they want it for a day. You know, you're looking at quite a bit of money. Yeah. There it was 20 minutes, very fair price. And on top of it, I'm driving through the streets of Ibiza.
That was pretty.
Yeah, stopped for a nice photo shoot, and that was the first time I drove a Ferrari, and
Man,
that engine in the back is just...
I saw your face, that grin from ear to ear. I was like, yeah, I have never driven a Ferrari. Just anyone who's listening, I have never driven a Ferrari, so I've been thinking about, taking one out. I think there's one in Hamilton you can take one out, right?
Yeah,
there's track, right?
There's that's the next thing I want to do. Maybe we should do it together. But I want to get a group of guys, and you rent the Ferrari and you do a track day.
Yeah.
And they give you a few hot laps there. So that would be pretty fun.
That sounds fun, actually.
Yeah.
So how much was your 20-minute?
It was €120. So
$250.
Yeah.
Done. I'd still do it.
Again, yeah, you have. What I look at too is the utility. What did I get out of that experience, right? I got to drive a Ferrari for the first time, the car I love. I shared that experience with my wife. Yeah, she loved it. Yeah, scared her a few times, but she loved it. Yeah. So
and in Spain,
Spain,
like the chances of that ever happening again are nil. So that's awesome. So what else do you like to do? I know that we've been out golfing a few times, but what's your other passion besides cars?
Cars and sports seem to be, my main thing. Yeah. I've been trying to read more.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't read.
Yeah.
Not that I can't read. I can read. I just have no patience to read.
Yeah. It's the time. It's not. Yeah. That's sort of the time in a sense.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to read more of books about just empowerment and staying motivated. I know it's a cliche, but it's a very important aspect in life, especially today, I think. Staying motivated, staying positive, because we all know, things could easily get to us and affect us in any line of work and life every day. So
yeah, that's good. Well, I've tried doing audiobooks. That's kind of the only way I'll get through something is listening to audiobooks. But yeah, just reading books has not been something.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
No,
I mean, some people could read a book within 2 days. And,
I know, it's crazy.
Good for them.
I've been into some houses and I've seen like their collection books. I'm like, have you read all those? Yeah. I'm like, I would not be able to read 5 of those books if you gave me a whole lifetime. And they like stacks and stacks and stacks of books. So
Yep. Yeah.
But and you also, I've seen you've been doing some jogging a lot, which you do often, I think. As long as I've known you, anyway.
Yeah. So the other activity I like is hockey and jogging. Like, hockey is a big part of my life. I got into it a little bit later on in life.
Jogging or
hockey?
Okay.
The jogging was just something to stay active. I'm not a gym guy.
Yeah,
I don't like lifting weights and things like that. But actually, recently I just joined F45 in Vaughan. It's, it's like a circuit training, 45 minutes.
That's a little bit more fun for me. Like, I would do something like that, where it's more high intense, interactive. You're doing, you know, because for me, lifting weights and it's just too boring and too slow. I need to do something.
Yeah, and it's hard to go to a gym and sort of have, again, everybody to each their own. They can do it. I can't. I need somebody to tell me, you need to do this, this, and this.
You need a push.
And I need it in a certain timeline, you know, kind of like a race in a way.
45 minutes.
45 minutes at 45.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark Wahlberg, for the creator of F45. But I'm doing my 3rd class on Saturday.
Nice.
I've been walking.
You're walking pretty good, though. You're not in pain.
You know what? It's funny you say that, but I am in so much pain. I can't even go down.
You don't show it.
I can't even go down the stairs.
Kudos, buddy, because you haven't grunted.
Yeah.
Because I would be a big baby. I'd be like, oh, fuck, my you know, it's just, anyways.
Yeah.
Good for you,
No,
man.
it's hard. You play hockey and you jog and you think, oh, you know,
but you're starting to use some other muscles that you didn't realize you had.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's part of problem. You would probably be a lot worse if you didn't do the jogging and the hockey.
I think so, but again, I thought I would be able to do this workout no problem. And it's like you said, your body is being introduced to all these new movements, and all these muscles are just coming into play again. So, but I'm excited. You know, 2020, I want to implement a lot of different things. Part of it is personal in my life, you know, going to the gym, reading a bit more.
Yeah.
In business, you know, there's a few things that we've been talking about I want to do.
Yeah. How do you find being in the real estate dive, I'm going to call it, because kind of, you know, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago before that little dip.
So,
2017.
So 2016, 2017, we saw a really sharp increase in the market upwards. And then towards the end of March, April of 2017 is when things really started to change. And, you know, unfortunately with any market, if it goes up too quick, too fast, it's probably going to come down in that same manner.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that year, I should say.
Yeah.
There's a lot of volatility. A lot of
stupidity.
Yeah. A lot of stupidity.
Yeah.
A lot of people got caught between buying and selling. They've lost a lot of money, unfortunately.
Yeah. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of now. Like a lot of these shoots that I've been out to, they have to sell because of, you know, mortgage change, or the bank, you know, recalled their mortgage or whatever the case. And now they're stuck and they've lost $200,000-$300,000.
Yeah.
Which is sad, right?
It's sad. There was, again, this volatility, it's not good for anybody.
Yeah.
The real estate market has always gone up, and within, you know, its peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
But that year was just too much. Man. And
I wasn't even getting home and editing the pictures, and it's like it's sold already.
Sold, yeah.
Wow, it's crazy.
We couldn't even put tours out on online, and the house was already gone. As realtors, we got to react to that market, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's our job. You know, your clients, you can only guide your clients so much and tell them. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if that's the house they want and these are the circumstances it took to get, we have to react, right?
Yeah.
You always want to make sure they're protected, though, as best as you can along the way, and nobody gets into trouble. Luckily, you know, my clients were okay. Mm-hmm. They bought and sold. Did the values decrease a little bit from when they bought? Yes, but they also sold for a very high.
Kind of relevant, right?
It's sort of relevant, right? But that's with any market. Real estate, stocks, you know, the financial market right now.
Yeah.
So you always got to be wary and just do your best to look at the indicators and listen to what your real estate agent tells you.
So one of my questions I had for you was, you know, we've talked about this a little bit a few times, and you know, going into a meeting with a potential seller and they want to sell their house, I know a lot of them are still stuck in 2017 prices.
Yeah.
And they just, won't either come to terms, whether because they paid at a high price or because they still think that, oh, my next door neighbor got, so and so for it. So what do you do? What are kind of some of the challenges that you have to get over to those people and get them back down to reality of what market value is?
Yeah, it's still shocking that I'm still meeting with some people that they're like, oh, my neighbor sold for this, and my neighbor got that, or this. The first question I asked them, was it in 2017?
you asked them right.
And they're like, yeah. I said, well, it's not relative at all. Mind you, in any given year, I always use about a 90-day window because I think markets fluctuate within that time period. So what I do, I'm very straightforward. I lay out the comparables. We look at the market together, put it out on the screen. I show them what I'm looking at.
Right.
This is what your house is worth. This is what the other homes have sold for. Give or take, their upgrades, their finishes, things like that, because there are value to those items.
Of course, yeah.
And you want to get them the most money you can, but within reason.
Right.
So that's always the obstacle. A lot of people think, agents put a sign out, a lockbox on the door, take a few pictures, and the house sells. What I think is that
2017 it did, literally.
Yeah.
It's like you put a post, coming soon, guys. I'm here at so-and-so street. Literally got a phone call and it was pretty much done. I got phone calls. I remember because Matt, don't worry, we already sold it. I'm like, I'm coming out in 2 hours. We already sold it. So it's not that easy anymore.
No.
And it really comes down to the marketing and what the agent gives you, which is what you're going to get to is in relevance to what you need to do now to market the properties that are.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes involved. I mean, first I got into real estate in 2008. The recession hit in 2008, and I quit my job. I had a full-time marketing job, got into real estate. What am I doing?
Yeah.
It was a very, very big challenge. I remember, I think the first house I sold took like 5 or 6 months.
Wow.
So it was a totally different market back then.
Yeah.
And not that we've come back to that, but you do have to put a lot more into a listing, a lot more marketing, beautiful photos and video, great content. I also like to have fun, as you guys can see, with these agent intros.
Trying to bring tractor.
Driving a tractor.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
But
you have to though.
People might mock that or make fun of that, but believe it or not, clients love it.
Yep.
They love seeing their house exposed in a different way.
In retrospect, it depends on the client.
Yes.
If some clients are very private, or I don't want to say uptight, but their beliefs are different. You have to kind of watch, how you're going to market their house.
No, it's a very good point. Everything is based on
who you're dealing with.
Right. And the discretion of your clients.
Yeah.
I mean, some clients don't want their house on social media.
Yeah.
They don't want their pictures on social media.
Yeah.
Sometimes I post,
which is hard for you guys. Like, how are you supposed to sell something if you can't even market it?
Yeah. I mean, it's always a challenge. But we do our best to work around that.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is, when we sit down with somebody, not only are you selling yourself and the services you offer, but what a lot of people don't, I think, take into consideration is the knowledge and background that we're presenting to them. Why is your house worth this? And showing them, again, the comparables and the recent sales. But going into it a little bit further, that house sold in 7 days, but maybe they didn't know it was listed for 3 months prior, 3 different times at a higher price point.
Right. So, is that information not available anymore? Unless they're working with an agent, you can get that
info,
so right?
We, on our back-end system, we'll have access to all listings as far back as we can go. We could see how many times it was listed, how many days on the market. Perhaps they switched realtors in between, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So there's always a background story to everything.
And that's why it's important, depending on who you hire.
Right.
And I'm not saying this just because you're my client, but I can tell you that there are some realtors that are out there that just aren't, whether it's just maybe not educated, they're new into the business or they're lazy. I hate to say it. They just don't care as much, I find. And there's someone like yourself who overly cares because you become friends with these clients. Right? Which is, so besides the friendship that you build with them, but genuinely you just have a passion and a love, and I can see that in the work and how you present a lot of these listings. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
That's key. And I wish a lot of other clients, especially new ones that are listening to this podcast, I'm telling you, if you could use clients like yourself or other clients that are out there that are doing really well as mentors, see what they're doing, ask them questions. I know you've gotten questions from people and you love helping out and answering questions to them, right? So
yeah, I think I feel like I could write a book on real estate. I almost want to do like a funny movie. It's just that comical sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some really great agents out there, and I'm not perfect.
Nobody is.
Nobody is.
I'm not perfect.
No, I'm always learning from the agents in my office.
Yep.
It's, and not even if they're productive or not, you're always learning something from them.
Yeah.
And you should always be helping people. What kind of gets me today are all these new agents that got their license because of 2016, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I called it, the gold rush for realtors because they think they're going to get their license and make all this money and life's great and I'm going to have all the freedom all the time and freedom in the world, right? It was and still is a bit easy for them, I got to say.
Yeah. But now I can tell you now, it's not so easy for them anymore.
No, and you know what? It's not even somebody that's been in the business like myself for going on 12 years. January 1st hits, we always have work on the go. There's always people we're dealing with, but we're always wondering, what kind of a year am I going to have?
Right.
How is the market going to react, right? So, that's always a challenge. What I just kind of irks me the wrong way are how all these sort of new agents are portraying themselves on social media.
Yeah.
Yes,
misleading information.
It's misleading
100%.
information, and nobody's there to.
How come Treb doesn't police that? Treb, if you're listening,
Good question.
they should be policing that because there's a lot of shady information marketing.
There is, and the public wouldn't be all the wiser to it. Only, I got to be honest. I see some posts that kind of get me the wrong way. I'll look into it. I'll look at the house, and I'll see. They didn't really sell it for that.
Right.
They didn't really make that much. Everybody's preaching, new price record. Well, the real estate market is generally always going up, so the next sale should technically be always higher than the next in a way. So. Yeah. There's a lot of all this.
Well, that's a marketing tactic, right?
Yeah, and again, everybody's trying to promote themselves. It's just how are you going about it? That's really conflicting with what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
Right. There's agents out there saying they're real estate investor experts.
Right.
They're the experts in real estate investing. I could tell you firsthand that a couple of them don't even own real estate. So.
How much of an
expert can you be, right?
Yeah.
So, it's things like that. And again, people probably are going to say stuff about, my posts and going back to what we said. Somebody's going to always have something to say.
Yep.
I just say be a little bit more humble about it. Get some experience under your wings. You've sold, 5 houses. Great. Don't say that's a proven track record and whatever, because trust me, it's a long career. We're going to all see ups and downs. And it's how we deal with that, I guess.
Yeah, and how you get through it. It's funny because we've had some conversations about social media and I've dived into Instagram, and that's kind of been 5 years now, 6 years. And I don't say this in an egotistical way or whatsoever, but I think I kind of was the pioneer for that type of marketing for my industry.
Yes, 100%.
And because I jumped on that bandwagon really early, I started benefiting from it, obviously from a business perspective, but also from a marketing power perspective, because it's very beneficial for other agents to get the property out there and get to the masses. I was fortunate enough to really hit it off with a lot of big Instagram accounts, which allowed me to grow even exponentially faster because of that. Every time I would posted a certain Twilight shot, or, that Winterlude with the basketball court. I mean, it's just stuff like that went viral really fast.
Yeah.
Which was great. And what I'm seeing now is there are other companies that are out there that do what I do. And I'm going to say a year into it, and, they believe that buying followers is the way to to show value.
Yes.
The
bot followers.
There's a lot of that shit. I've showed a lot of stuff on my Instagram on how to look out for that stuff, where to look out for it, how to find it.
And I've used what it's some people that aren't familiar with Instagram. There are ways you can really divulge and see.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, there's different programs that you can go out there to kind of look and get this information up. And I keep saying this, one of the biggest things about Instagram, you should do your homework. If you're going to hire an agent, don't look at how many followers they have. I can tell you the best way is to go look at their engagement level.
Mm-hmm.
And engagement level is the honest, 100% true stat. That's you can't get around that, because you can buy 50,000 followers if you want. And, yesterday you were at 100. How'd you get 50,100 followers?
Yeah, just like that.
Just like that. But yeah, you only still have 2 or 3 likes. Doesn't make any sense. So your engagement level, and I did a post about this, your engagement level, and for those of you that are listening, I really there's different platforms that you can go look for this stuff. Before hiring a realtor, do your homework just like you would if you didn't have social media. Just, look at how many listings they sold in the area. Did they sell as many as they say they sold, or, what they're, that you can get information, I think, from your brokerage as well about.
Yeah. And generally when we're sitting down with these people, we're gonna show them the houses we've sold. We're gonna bring our stats. It's not to brag. It's to it's like a job interview. Yeah. So we're bringing our resume with us. Yeah. And that's what I look at Instagram as, is a resume.
100%.
It is a marketing tool, but I don't believe it 100% sells our houses. It's exposure. It helps. So, one of the things are too, why doesn't Instagram get rid of followers?
Well, they just stopped now with
likes.
With likes, yeah. and showing, how many likes you get on a post and everything, which is great, because people were too kind of fixed on that, right? And, again, the same thing, even with the follower aspect, and I've been doing this kind of the last couple of days, is talking about TikTok and the different platform, is because, just like Gary Vee said, there's like 1.5 billion people that downloaded that. So you want to get into the data side of why that's happening. And again, going back to kind of how you market properties and what you do as a realtor, if you're on top of the game in the social media world, you're gonna be ahead in the future. If you're not into it and you're still kind of in the yesteryears and not know how to get into social media, you're gonna hurt. But
I think that mentality too leads to why people are buying followers. Again, they're lying to themselves and if they are a business, they're lying to their clients because it's fake. But I think that's why it leads to them, is they think they need to show that they're popular or that they're out there in the masses. Mm-hmm. I don't have a huge following on Instagram. 3,600. Yeah, some people think that's great.
But your engagement level's high.
My engagement level is very high.
That's what's important.
And I'm happy because of a lot of the people I am engaged with, mm-hmm. whether I know them or not, they're from the area. Local businesses, whatever the case may be. So for that, I'm happy about.
Yeah. Let me tell you Adamo, when I have, I think I'm at 72,000 followers. And one of the questions I get a lot is, how does it benefit my business? For me, it's benefited locally. Externally, I've gotten some requests and job offers mm-hmm. outside of Canada. I'm not going to take it, obviously. Some of them was actually one going to Alaska to take some pictures of a hotel. That's fun. So that's that came out of Instagram. Mm-hmm. So there's the power of that. But when it comes down to Instagram, for me, it's a matter of, if I can help my clients through this platform because I have that following, it's great. But the engagement level is what I keep going back. It's what's key, because out of 70,000 followers, 72,000 followers, I'm going to say maybe 50 or actually 40 are actually real. Yeah. The rest are all bots. The rest are all companies that have to make these programs follow all these other companies in order for them to continue to make traction and get other other followers to buy and get that engagement level that they're trying to get, but there is no engagement because they're dead. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
If they're not liking, if they're not commenting, if they're not sharing, there's no engagement. So you can have as many as you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is such a debatable topic. I love talking about it. It's just very interesting. That's what I've been saying lately is that every account, sort of like the Google perspective, as a business. Okay, let's look at it as a business. You want to set up your business on Google. They send you a verification through the mail, and they verify you. The only people getting verified on Instagram, mostly celebrities because they're searched, or I think that should change, in my opinion, somehow or some way or another. It just gives more legitimacy to everybody, right? So that way, if somebody is looking you up, they know you are a verified account. And any of these bots or whatever, these fake accounts, like, get rid of them. Like,
well, I know, Instagram's been doing that a lot lately, where they're dumping a lot of these dead accounts or these ghost accounts. Now there are apps. I've go in often. I can't tell you how many times I go into different applications that allow you to get rid of ghost followers. So you can go, and I've gotten rid of some actual real followers, and that's only because the app will consider them a ghost when they don't interact.
Okay.
So let's just say you have someone that is stalking the creepers, right? You will, look at their stuff all the time, but you're not engaging, you're not liking, you're not. So the app will figure you out as being a ghost. So for me, it will figure out, okay, this person's a ghost, and then I'll just delete them. So I'll do that often as much as I can. I have had a couple of clients that are like, hey, why'd you delete me? I'm like, because you haven't been engaging. The app does it. It's no personal. So, that's one of the things that I could suggest for a lot of people that are out there is just do your homework on certain accounts or clients that you're going to hire. Don't look as social media as being the end all and end all. No. It's how you're going to market.
No, have fun with it. Obviously, we want to be as a business. You always want to be professional. Yep. I'm professional. People see me putting out some funny content here and there. That's my personality. Yeah. But
that's why people are going to have you sell their house.
Right. But I'm a professional when it comes to conducting myself. From a real estate and realtor standpoint. Right. Yeah. So yeah, just be authentic, be real. There's people just trying hard. I think trying too hard. Yeah.
Too hard.
So
the one of the other questions I had for you was, I see this often, and we talked about it earlier. You get a listing, you have it for 3 months, it doesn't sell. Client says, Adamo, you're not doing your job. I want to terminate the listing.
Yeah. It happens. I mean, I don't think any realtor has sold every listing that they've had. Okay. If they have, wow, good for them. But unfortunately, things happen. How do you deal with that? Well, it initially comes back to that first appointment that you've had with them. Mm-hmm. So your value proposition and in terms of what your services, but also what's the price point and market value of the house. Okay. I'm very clear and direct with what I think a house is worth. Mm-hmm. Some are obviously a little bit easier to price than others. I mean, I live in a townhouse, so if a townhouse sells on my street for X, I know mine's going to be in that range between 10 and 20,000.
Unless it has like major upgrades or something.
Right.
But still, you're talking 30, 40,000 maybe.
Exactly. Okay. Other properties, maybe some rural properties, bigger acreage, they become a little bit harder to assess. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, you still look at all the stats. You still look at all the listings that are available. You see the days on the market. And you try and paint that picture to your potential client or your client. Yeah. Yes, every seller sees their house worth
more than what it is.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah. But again, it's pride of ownership. It's a lot of things that go into that. Dealing with that is just something where you have to be direct from the start.
But sometimes being too direct makes you lose that listing.
Right. But there's a lot of agents, and I'm one of them as well. If their expectations are too high, mm-hmm. you're better off to let it go from 100% from that point. Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to list the house and get business. Yeah. We're a commission.
Especially new agents that are
Oh yeah,
dying and need the business. And
yeah,
will say whatever they can to get it.
They'll say whatever they can.
Yeah.
They'll take it at whatever price they can.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to, you need to sort of pick and choose, because again, a good agent is spending a significant amount of money on a listing through, you know, marketing.
Yep. Some are spending more than others.
Some are spending more than others.
Yeah. I think that's one of the questions. If I could tell people listening and they're interviewing, is to actually get a number. Like, what are you going to sell in marketing for my house, and then hold them to that number. Because a lot of times I see, you know, agents will say, yeah, I'll do this, 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 and this.
And don't.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll end up using their cell phone or really cheap pictures or, you know, whatever not put social media ads out there, not put it in the newspaper, whatever the case is. So, yeah, definitely. I think that's an important thing, is hold up that number to what they say they're going to spend. Yeah. And it's also based on your commission too, right? Because if they start nickel and diming you, well, hey, something's got to give as well. So
yeah, I mean, everything's negotiable when you're sitting down with people. But yeah, commission's commission. But again, I always say, what value added services are you going to bring to your client versus, you know, here's my commission, let's get the house on the market at this price and go from there. Agents just want to try and do it for as little as possible. Some agents want to do it for as little as possible and put as much as they can in their pocket, right?
Yeah.
Not my mentality. It's not the way I do things. You know, I have a process with every listing. You know, we get staging if we need it, professional cleaners. Obviously, you guys, StalloneMedia comes in.
The best of the best.
Best of the best.
No, I hate that. Don't say the best of the best. No. One of the good. One of the
best. No, definitely. Okay. And I'm not knocking anybody. Everybody's out there to make a living and do their business. Yeah.
It's all relevant again.
It's all relevant, right? And everybody has preference.
Yeah.
So they're gonna hire who they like and feel comfortable with.
That is, you know what? That's totally cool. I get it. And whether it's photography or whether it's a painter or whether you like somebody, you're going to do business with them. Really is what it comes down to. There's going to be some quality difference, maybe a little bit, but if you're okay with a certain amount of it, then you know, work with it, right?
Yeah, everything's relative, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing. That's where we go back to the sellers. The sellers are going to work with you if they like you and what you present to them as who you are.
Yeah. And ultimately, I mean, it's my biggest thing is I want people to trust me.
Yeah.
That's the
first and foremost.
And I want to trust them. You know, it goes both ways. If I feel, you know, let's going back to that pricing issue, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you give a number to a seller, they say, well, I want this number, a little bit higher. I mean, it's going to be hard to work within that sort of difference.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, sometimes you can take on that listing with the notion, okay, that you say, fine, we'll give it a shot. I'm committed to spending, you know, my marketing dollars and time and everything into your home.
Right.
But knowing that there has to be a plan B involved.
Okay.
And maybe that plan B takes effect, you know, 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever.
Yeah, like when do you know when the right time is? It's like 2 weeks. Like if you don't get action or viewings and showings on the house, it's like we need to do something quick.
Yeah, I mean, no showings in a week or 2 weeks on the market. You need to reprice the home. Okay. And that's saying, provided you did all these value services that we've talked about.
So let me ask you a question, because you just said something that I think is very relevant. If you price it, let's just take a number at 1.2 million, but you think it's worth 1 million. The homeowner wants 1.2 million. You list it at 1.2 million, you get no showings. Now you have to drop the price. Doesn't that hurt you?
Yeah.
You would have been better off putting it at 1 million.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt realtors.
No, it hurts the homeowner.
It hurts the homeowner. Yeah. And the other argument that sellers will say is, well, if they like the house, why didn't they bring me an offer? Because they're scared. Buyers are scared. They don't want to offend anybody at the same time. They don't want to lowball in a sense, right? But you've, in those 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 30 days, you've missed all those buyers looking for $1 million to $1.1 million home, let's say.
Yeah.
Because you were priced $100,000 too high.
They could have just literally bought a house 2 doors down from you that was for sale on the right number.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, it is a perception thing. People are missing out on buyers at that time.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. I've had instances I've had instances, and I'm sure other real estate agents could attest to this, where, you know, you put out a house at a high price point. Some agents that came to see it end up going to buy a house, you know, down the street for much less. So unfortunately, it happens. You missed out on that buyer, you know. So it's important to price the house right, and this goes back to analyzing the market, positioning the home property in that certain range, and the buyers will come. But again, putting forward that beautiful presentation
at the beginning,
it's very key.
First impression, right?
First impression
is huge. So now you get to the point where 2 months, 3 months come down the road. It's not selling. Now they want to terminate the listing with you because you haven't done anything.
Yeah, I mean, the onus
you
always
go to plan B.
It always comes down to the real estate, to the realtor. You know,
I have to. I'm gonna it does, but I disagree.
No, from a seller standpoint, is
the sellers are always gonna blame you.
You didn't sell the house,
right?
You know, I hired you to sell my house. You didn't sell the house. Well, let's go back 3 months when we sat down and I told you this was what the house was worth,
right?
Right. So it's tricky.
Yeah. And because you don't want to offend them at the same time.
No, definitely. Nobody wants to offend anybody.
But you know what? I think sometimes you have to maybe, you have it in writing where you say, okay, here's plan B at my number. You want to go at your number, that's fine. But if 3 months come down the road, we're going to look at this paper again that you signed and we agreed with. And I think it's only fair that you give me a shot at this number now to sell it.
Yeah.
And what I hate to see, and again, working with a lot of clients, I feel bad for them, is you end up losing the listing to another client or another agent, and then the house drops $150,000 and it sells.
Yeah.
And they look like they're the expert now because this sold in 2 days. It was on the market for 3 months.
or they aggressively priced it and got over asking.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's
not
heartbreaking.
Fair.
It's heartbreaking when
you also lose it on the marketing time that you spent onto it, right?
Of course. We are 100% commission based.
Yeah.
So any money we spend in a listing comes out of our pocket.
Yeah.
And if we don't sell it,
well, I can tell you, without reservations, I can tell you some are getting very creative in terms of how they're going after sellers now and dealing with this issue. Okay. And when I say that, it's because homeowners are getting to the point where, like, you didn't sell my house at this number. You need to you need to change something up. You need to do whatever. I'm going to give it to someone else. So a lot of times what I'm starting to hear now, and I agree with it, is, okay, I'll do it at your number, but if it doesn't sell and it changes, will you do it at your number, but you're going to have to pay for staging, for example. Mm-hmm. If you do it at my number, I'll take care of everything.
Yeah.
So you put a little bit of that onus on the homeowner. So if you're that confident at your number, then you pay the $5,000 for the staging and marketing, photos, whatever the case number it is. But if you sell at my number, then I'll sell it and I'll put everything in. So you got to get creative now to kind of work with
people
what you got.
and try and appease them on what they want, but at the same time
see how confident they are.
And see how confident they are.
100%.
Yeah. So timing and motivation for sellers are, very two big components. Some sellers aren't motivated to sell. They're testing the waters. So
wasting your time.
Yeah, they might be wasting your time. They're, and again, it comes down to, do you want to waste your time? Do you want to take on that listing? Mm-hmm. I gauge it on, the commitment level of the client, right? So I've been in this situation where, and I am right now actually, where we have a house on the market that is of higher price point.
Yeah.
But we have a plan in place, and they're flexible on that plan, on timing. Mm-hmm. I've made them aware of everything we just talked about.
Right, all the stats, look at all the numbers.
Again, as long as you communicate with your clients and you are very
educating
clear,
them as much
educating
as you can,
them, this is what you're going to miss out on. This is where the market's at, whatever. If they're still willing to take that on and work with you, I mean, you almost can't say no at that point, but knowing that you are going to have plan B when they're ready.
Right.
Hopefully they're ready. They will be ready. And you put it at the proper price. That'll actually move. Now, the flip side to that is, though, sometimes if a house is on the market long enough, you've almost rode a cyclical wave in the market where actually buyers start coming back see
if it's still
yeah,
available.
because maybe something in the area sold and it triggered
yeah, it's true.
So there is
I
that
wonder if
instance.
that house is still available. We should look it up. It's not on. It's off the market maybe, or
Well, I've had a lot of agents in the last week back since the holidays. They told me, and myself included, we suspended or took some listings off the market just because of the winter
time. Yeah, of course.
And myself and the other agents have been getting phone calls from other agents. Hey, I noticed it's off the market. Can we still see it? Are you guys still planning to sell it? I'm like, where were you when it was on the market?
But let me ask you something, Adamo. Are they doing that because they're really interested, or maybe they want to poach at your clients?
Again, this goes back to the whole real estate
I'm
industry.
putting it out there, man.
No, you know what? I'm glad you are. We got to be very candid.
Because listen, hey, there's poachers in my industry as well.
Yeah, poachers. It's very.
Again, there's the right way of doing things, and then there's the really unethical way of doing things.
Yeah, and there's a lot of unethical agents, unfortunately, or ways of going out there and soliciting business.
I'm just going to say professionals, because it's really an industry. There's a lot of industries that have very unprofessional people.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
right?
it's not
and
just
morals.
agents.
Morals are very king.
Yeah.
We're losing our morals in today's age.
Yeah.
It's just out the door. People are only caring about themselves.
Yeah.
And they're really just disregarding everything else in between, right?
Yeah.
And it's all for mostly the dollar.
So my last question for you on this podcast is, if you had your ultimate dream job, and it wasn't real estate.
It wasn't real estate.
What's your next ultimate dream job?
Wow.
A race car driver.
Oh, I would love to. Formula One race car driver.
Seriously?
Yeah. So, hockey was always my thing. Like, if I said, I'd love to be a hockey player, I'd love to play in the NHL. Yeah. I was never good enough, but that would be the thing. But then now, as you get older, you start to think of the toll it takes on your body.
Well, look what all these hockey players are doing now that have retired. Right? If they didn't build their business up or do something, what are they going to fall back on?
Right. I mean, luckily, if they became professionals, it's
real estate investors.
But lately, and I think it's because I went to my first Formula One race this year, I just fell in love with the whole atmosphere, the drivers.
But race car driving is the same thing. Your body can only take so much, and then after you get
and it's very dangerous. I mean, let's look at the danger aspect. But it just it's that thrill, I think, of just going fast on your own, right? Like you're in the car, you're driving. Obviously, you have the driver, other people around you, but just that whole exhilaration and that feeling. Now I've turned my inner child back on, and I bought a racing wheel. I bought a PlayStation. Yeah. So my wife does not see me at night. I'm in the basement.
Your wife is probably...
She's happy, actually.
Oh, really?
I get to watch whatever I want, and it's fun though. It's childish, but you know what? We gotta have fun in life.
So do you have the steering wheel?
I bought the
pedals?
steering wheel, the pedals.
You got the
I got the
headphones.
Headset, yeah.
Oh shit! So you're like right
I'm gonna
into
do a
it.
post actually on it. A few people were asking.
I know on some of those you can actually record the output of that, and actually record what you were doing.
Yeah. Okay. So I have on the actual PlayStation system, you can screenshot it, whatever. But me having fun with videos, I actually set up my tripod right behind me so I could record some hot laps. And you know what's funny is another agent in my office, another big Formula One fan.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about it.
Yeah.
And same thing. He said, "Oh, I have that too. I bought the seat. I bought the setup, and it's two different platforms. He's using the Xbox. I'm using the PlayStation.
So you can't play against each other.
But I'm sending him our lap times just to a little friendly competition, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
same tracks, obviously.
Yeah, same tracks. So I mean, everybody's got their thing of having fun.
You know what? You need some downtime. You need some de-stress.
Mm-hmm. Last point. I know we were going to finish off here, but going back to how you revolutionized sort of this industry. Yeah, it is because you bring top quality photos, top quality video, and just an overall fun aspect to it. And I want to thank you for that.
My pleasure, man.
I really appreciate it, and I'm happy. Since I switched over to Remax and we started working together, that it's been very receptive, very great, and I look forward to 2020.
That's music to my ears, I
Yeah.
tell you, because there's nothing more that I love to see my clients succeed. And the more that the more that they can succeed, that just means I'm going to get more business. We're going to keep that relationship going. We're going to keep going on and on. And like I've said, we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes.
No.
How we kind of deal with it and get around it and make things, better again. It happens. It's not going to, sometimes it's not all our fault when the client's not ready and the house isn't ready, but that's a different topic. Not for you.
No,
just saying,
it just comes down
happens.
to you're not going to make everybody happy. It's
You're
that
not.
old saying, right?
Yeah.
And I've been on that, and I always tell my clients, buyer or seller, put yourself on the flip side of the situation.
Yeah.
Would you buy your house for X or, and sometimes they say, no, I wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Same with us. We're going to make mistakes. Things might happen. We do our best, and that's all we can do at the end of the day, right? So we're not going to make everybody happy. We just do what makes us happy and do your best for others.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Adamo, because, I'm very passionate about what we do. And a lot of my team members are also passionate about what they do. So it's not just a job for us. We actually enjoy doing what we do and trying to put out our best. So, thank you for all those years of trusting in us. That's a key thing, and continue to 2020 in real estate.
I almost want to keep going now. I feel like I'm in the groove now.
You're not sweating anymore.
I am sweating.
No, you're not. You're totally. You're like. He's totally into it.
But this was fun. Yeah, in the beginning,
nervous
for sure. But
just let it go.
You let it go. Like
my goal for you for 2020, I want to. And I said this to you last year. You got to put out at least a video a week.
Yeah,
and you've done it.
I have been
slacked a little bit.
I have slacked a bit, but that, and that's
call you on it.
Yeah, you have to remind me. But it's funny because I looked at Instagram from last year, and I was going so hard with the videos, and then you get a little bit busy, and you have to, it happens. But you can't put out sort of the things you want to put out all the time. But it is very important today to
consistency.
To be consistent. For sure.
But that I'm going to leave you on. I've already said this to you, but I'll leave it to everybody listening. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And when I say that, I mean don't put everything into Instagram.
Yes.
Okay. Make sure you diversify on how you're doing your marketing out there. And I'm a big believer now more than anything is you got to put out videos. Mm-hmm. Whether it's videos of just the property in the house, but what you do, your personality, who you are, and things that you do. Put it out there on YouTube, put it out there, and then from there, put it out to Facebook and all the other platforms. Because the mistake that I made, and I'm saying this from experience, is I put all my eggs into Instagram. It's done me well. Unfortunately, if I had to do it the other way around, and I put all my eggs into YouTube, I'd be a hell of a lot further off now because I could also be making money off of YouTube views and different revenue streams that Instagram doesn't give you revenue streams unless you're getting business from it.
Yeah, I think those YouTube, Google, Facebook, they're just a little bit more certifiable. Yeah. I mean, anybody could put anything out on Instagram, unfortunately. Yeah. So it's a little bit more controlled, I'd say, with those other platforms.
It is, but also about the video, you can't fake. You can't
fake the video. You could edit them.
The better you make them look, the better it is.
But yeah, it's definitely, you have to use every sort of facet out there that we can. And I agree. I like Instagram. It's a love-hate relationship with certain things, but
use it for what you need it for.
Yeah.
And use the other platforms at the same time. Yeah, so
for sure.
All right, guys. So that is it. That was Adamo from Kleinberg Remax West. Adamo, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Hopefully next time it'll flow a little bit better.
I thought it flowed really well.
I think it flowed well.
I think you did well.
I'm happy. This was fun. It's good to be here.
Just talking, man.
Yeah, just talking.
Coffee.
Uh-huh.
Anytime you want to bring coffee.
Anytime, guys.
That's it.
Anytime.
All right, guys. All the best. That's it. See you on the next podcast.
Thanks. Oh, man. Yeah. Takes me a while.
So if you like that video and you want to see more, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook.